All right, I'd like to welcome in my next guest, Romy Gonzalez. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Everything good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. A lot has changed since we last talked when you were last at Miami there in 2018. We'll get into a lot of that. I'm curious how things are going for you right now. Can you talk about maybe your current schedule, workouts as you're getting ready here? What has it been like here, your off season?
Yeah, man. I've been working out pretty much every day. I take Sundays off, but yeah, Monday through Saturday, I'm pretty much getting after it. You know, it's uh, it's a long year, man. So you really got to get the body ready and get into head to spring training full force.
What is your maybe some focus in the off season, and then maybe some things you're doing? Like how often are you on the field, workouts, things like that, and what's kind of your daily routine, and maybe some focus for you in particular?
Yeah, so I'm working out pretty much. I'm lifting 5 days a week. I'm hitting 6 times a week. And I'm trying to get on the field as much as I can. It's kind of tough down here in Miami because I don't know. It seems impossible to get on a field, but I try to get on a field at least 2, 3 times a week and get my defensive work in.
Defensive work, it's so key for you. Your position flexibility. I'm sure that's exactly what they like about you. You played different spots last year. 2021 was a great year for you. There's a lot to talk about with that one, but where does your position focus kind of go to? You play in the outfield, infield, even pitch a little bit, but just what did what's that kind of focus been like for you, and what's been key for you to make sure you can play those different spots?
I mean, just working everywhere, just yeah, getting reps everywhere. I know, versatility is definitely a big thing for me. And yeah, I just try to get my work in everywhere. But I've been primarily just focusing on second base this year. There's an opening, but who knows? But yeah, I'm just trying to get into spring training, man, as ready as possible, just to play whatever, just do what I do.
Where did that start, Romy? I don't know at you played different spots a little bit there, but when did that start to become like, look, I got to be able to do these different things?
So my last year at UM3, I remember we had a meeting and he was asking me pretty much, hey, you want to play outfield? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm down, like no problem. He's like, man, this is only going to help you. You have no idea. And at the time, I really didn't. I was like, all right, yeah, sure. But I didn't really realize how valuable it was until I got into pro ball and I started seeing, these guys in the major leagues like Kike Hernandez and Chris Taylor and guys like them, start, they have the amount of value they bring to a team. It's incredible, So yeah, that's when I really noticed, like my first year of pro ball, and I'm like, wow, this is huge.
Yeah, the alumni game at Miami, that had to have been a lot of fun for you. One of the things, just me personally, obviously excited for you, your journey, what you've gotten to be able to do, your success. I'm sure the alumni game was a chance for you to connect to a lot of people excited and happy for you. What was that kind of experience like there at UM?
Oh man, it was awesome. It's always great to see your old teammates, old coaches, and being when you go to UM, man, it's a big family. The guys from the 70s were there, and they're there every year. So, we build a relationship, and throughout the years, it's always great to see them, for the at the alumni game. But yeah, man, it was awesome, taking the field with a lot of old teammates and just having fun.
Was there anybody in particular that you enjoyed seeing, and or maybe even a message that you got from someone that you really took away that was a really cool thing for you?
Just everyone, man. Just seeing everyone collectively was amazing, and they were so happy for me. I couldn't, it's tough to put into words, how happy they were for me. But it's such a great feeling, man. They're following me and rooting for me, it means the world to me.
Staying with you, Romy, and just kind of going back to your final year there in 2018. What looking back on that, you get drafted 18th round, just the whole year. You guys don't make the NCAA tournament. I remember those times. Certainly, very disappointed. You had good seasons, but what can you take away from 2018 in particular, and how did you think the draft was going to go for you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't perform the way I was expecting myself to perform that year, so I wasn't shocked when I got drafted in the 18th round. Obviously I was hoping to go as early as possible. I thought I had set myself up, with a good sophomore year. I had a good summer in the Cape, to go pretty early. And, I just things didn't work out the way I planned them to. And that's life. Things happen, you just gotta roll with it. But yeah, man, 2018 was definitely a tough year. We didn't make regionals. You know, a lot of us, a lot of us were hurt. We didn't really have our full team out there at all times. It was tough. But still, man, you know, looking back, it's just the camaraderie, the memories. You know, we fought hard to the very end, and you know, it's definitely, you know, you just got to roll with it, man. It was such a tough year, but you know, I learned a lot of lessons, and it was still obviously a great year.
So one of the things that's interesting with your journey is essentially how quickly you got to the show there. Uh, so 18 there, you get drafted, but how important do you think it was just to get some reps there in rookie ball in 18 to kind of finish off 18, essentially kind of in the note on a positive? Because like you said, it was disappointing that year, that season in particular.
Yeah, definitely, man. Just getting that first taste of pro ball and just to see, you know, what to expect is, you know, it was awesome, you know, and we were in Great Falls, Montana, so it was a lot different from sunny South Florida. But yeah, man, it was great, you know, to suit up and play professional baseball, which has always been a dream of mine.
So 2019, you go to Canal playing low A ball there, and then 2020 as well. Can you talk about those 2 years and different for your development? Obviously, you're playing, and then from 20 not playing. What was kind of your takeaways from those 2 years? What were those 2 years like individually as you kind of prepare for 21?
Yeah, so 2019 was in Kannapolis. Long year. That was my first full season, you know, of professional baseball, and that's where you get to know, like, that's where you learn, you know, you see how you have to treat yourself, like how you have to take care of your body and how important it is to develop a routine, you know, that you stick to every day. But man, you're playing 140 games, you know, it's in college, what's the most we'd play? 65 maybe. So we're playing double the amount of games and then some. So yeah, man, you know, I started off really well, and then towards the end of the year, man, I just got extremely tired. So my biggest takeaway that year was just, you know, I had to get in the best physical shape and maintain that physical shape to my best ability, you know, because man, I tell you, man, by August, you know, they call it the dog days. It's tough, man. It's a grind. You know, you're out there in the middle of nowhere playing baseball, and it's extremely hard. And then, you know, leading up to 2020, obviously, I didn't put myself on the map to get invited to the alternate side or anything like that. So, you know, we had a whole year to train. So that's where I really changed my body. I got with a new trainer, Nick Soto. He trains Manny Machado. He's got a bunch of NFL guys. Yonder Alonso used to train with him as well. And man, I give him so much credit. He really changed my body, man. And I just learned so much under him, you know, just how to take care of my body. And yeah, man, 2020, obviously no minor league season. I went into the 2020 year saying, you know, pretty much this is it for me. You know, if 2021 doesn't work out, if I'm not knocking on the door, you know, putting myself in a position to get to the major leagues, you know, I'm going to hang it up, you know, because I'm getting older. I'm 25 years old now. So yeah, that's pretty much that was my mentality going into 2021.
Romy, did you sense that from the organization? I mean, like you said, you're thinking this 21 was going to be a pivotal year. That's why 20 essentially you had to get to that spot. Were you sensing that from them? And I say that because again, where you were drafted, the season, like you said, from 19 that you had, were you feeling that from them?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say.
Or maybe uncertainty, maybe at all?
I mean, there's always an uncertainty, you know, when you don't really outshine most players in your organization. You know, it's tough. You know, it's extremely tough to make it. And I hadn't had my first short season year. I had a solid year or whatever, but my first full season wasn't spectacular. So I'm like, man, I'm getting older. I know how it works. You know, I'm not naive. You know, I'm getting older. I haven't had a great season yet. I really haven't put myself on the map. But yeah, I just went into the year. I'm like, this is it. You know, like I'm gonna work as hard as I can, not look back, not have any regrets, and see what happens. And you know, 21 was obviously the best year of my life, my career, and you know, I ended up making it to the major leagues, which was, you know, going into the year, I had no idea, you know, that would happen. You know.
Kind of, was there a point in that 20 year, you said the workouts, your body was changing. Was there a point where you felt like you were going to be a different player once either games got started or at bats you were taking there? Was there something kind of tangible that you were feeling that you were going to, you know, that things were working out well, that you were progressing the way you were hoping?
Definitely. I mean, one, I felt as healthy as ever, and two, I felt as strong as ever. I was, 220 pounds, and I was moving like I've always moved. I like to run, I like to steal bags and stuff. But yeah, man, I was extremely excited to just go to work and play. And I remember I was showing up to spring training. We always have like fitness tests and all that, and everybody was raving about my body and how strong I look, how good I look. The ball was sounding different off the bat. So man, once I got that feedback, I had that this level of confidence, that I felt like the most physical guy on the field, and having that little edge was great, and I took it into the year, and things worked out.
So you go to Charlotte Double A. Was that a surprise that that's where you were going to start at all?
So yeah, there was definitely a surprise. I thought I'd be going to high A, but I went to spring training, and they were very impressed. They're like, all right, this guy's not messing around this year. So they ended up sending me to Birmingham. Double A.
Yeah, Birmingham. Yeah.
All good, all good. Yeah, so they sent me there, and that was a huge surprise. I was extremely excited. I'm like, man, this is where I wanted to finish, in Double A, pretty much. And I'm starting here, which is awesome, man. And yeah, we get there, we have a great team, great coaches. Yeah, man, it was a blast. I had a great time there.
So with that 21, with your minor league campaign there, from 21, you have this breakout year. You hit 283, 24 homers, 23 homers, 24 bags. That had to feel good. Your OPS close to 900 for the year. The minor league season, just to do it at both levels too. Not just at Double A, but you get the promotion there at Triple A. What was that experience like as you were going through it? Like you said, you felt good going into it, but to actually produce with results, what was that like for you?
It's addicting. You want to continue to do it. You want to continue to work hard and reap the benefits of your hard work. So man, it was definitely a great experience.
When did you think that maybe a call-up could happen for you? As the season's going along, obviously you're putting up numbers. When did it start to feel maybe this is a possibility? Or did it feel real that it could happen in 21?
It definitely started feeling real. My coaches were like, they're basically telling me like, hey, you have talent, to make it to the big leagues. You're an incredible player, this and that. But it really didn't hit me till I got to AAA. And, our manager, Wes Helms, he pulled me aside one day and he's like, hey man, don't let this be your last stop this year. Do not let AAA be your last stop. Don't go on cruise control and finish the year or whatever. Like, dude, continue to do your thing, work hard, and you never know, man. You never know. And then sure enough, like 10 days later, I get called up.
What was you weren't on the 40-man, is that correct?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
So that was obviously the big step, and obviously you get the expanded rosters there. But again, the White Sox are competing for playoff, having a great year, so it's not exactly automatic. But the call up, what's your memories from that had to have been a special moment? What was your experience like? How did you get the news, and how did you tell people that obviously were rooting for that?
Yeah, so we were in Norfolk, Virginia, playing the Orioles AAA team. And after the game, I see everyone, like, what our manager's looking for me. He can't find me. I'm in the shower. He finally finds me in the shower. He's like, hey, come to my office. Need to talk to you. And I'm like, all right. I'm kind of like nervous. So I go in the office. Well, I go to my locker and change and all that. And I noticed, I didn't see none of the coaches or anyone like walking around. I'm like, this is strange. So as soon as I walk in there, everyone's in there, and I'm like, oh, this is it. So sure enough, he's like, hey man, get ready, you're going to the major leagues. And I just, it's just such an incredible feeling, man. It's my lifelong dream coming true, and I couldn't be more grateful, man, to be in that position. And yeah, I called my mom, dad, and grandfather immediately. Broke the news to them, and it was, it was extremely emotional, as you would imagine. But yeah, man, it was awesome.
The debut for you in Kansas City there, what was that like? What was that experience like to come in late in the game there, getting that bat? But what was that like for you?
I was freaking out. I was freaking out. Yeah, Tony came up to me and said, hey, you're going in the hit. And I was like, no way. Like, I had no idea. We were down 6-7 runs, and he's like, hey, go and grab a bat. You're in. I'm like, oh, here we go. But yeah, man, I've never felt so nervous in my life. But you know, my parents were there, my grandfather was there, and it was, you know, obviously didn't get a great result, but still, man, you know, getting that first at bat out of the way it was awesome.
You had some memorable, you play in 10 games, but you had some memorable ones in there. I want to get to that, but you touched on with Tony LaRussa. Uh, do you have a good story already with coach, with manager there? A guy like I have one I can share as a reporter, but just, do you have something already that stands out to you with him?
Oh man, Tony's awesome. Tony's I see why he's a Hall of Fame manager. Very, very sharp manager. Just a great person. He genuinely cares about his guys. He I mean, I don't know if this is like a crazy story, but I remember we were at home like against the Red Sox, and he goes up to me and he goes, hey, what do you think about playing the outfield? And I'm like, yeah, like I don't mind it. He goes, when was the last time you played? And I was like, oh, like 2 years ago. He goes, really? He goes, and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, oh, all right, cool. You're in there today. You're playing left. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. I got extremely nervous, man. I obviously hadn't played in 2 years. And we're playing the Red Sox Friday night. It was pretty much sold out. There was like 45,000 there. But yeah, I was freaking out once he told me that.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, you know, for years I covered on the side, in addition to covering covered, you know, Major League Baseball games for years. And there's a story where, you know, so the day before my situation with him, after games, reporters go into the manager's office to do their interviews, and the group of guys went in there, and a little too early, Tony's kind of, you know, post game shower, the whole thing, and he kind of snapped a little bit that they weren't supposed to be in there. So it was just a kind of a situation, and you know, and obviously they finished interviews later, and it was fine. But the next day, so I knew that story and kind of heard that the next day was a doubleheader. And covering double headers is very interesting because we actually talked to the managers, only the managers, no players, in between games. So we would go down there, and I was the only reporter for either team, and I was young, and I had to go in and talk to LaRussa there by myself, and I didn't know if I could go in. I was very hesitant to go in. He's like, "Come on, let's go." You know, kind of like, you know, kind of not snapped, but just wanted to get it over with for sure. But it went fine, but it definitely, as a young reporter, kind of a little intimidated, but yeah, just like you said, Hall of Fame guy, and certainly the key to your guys' success. So you know, you make your debut, but you know, and you get that start there, that first start. You go 0 for 5. Now you're sitting at 0-7, but you get your first hit against the A's. What was that moment like for you? Obviously, everything is going to be first. You get your debut and these different things here, going to different parks, things like that. But the hit against the A's, what was that like? And it was a nice one too. It wasn't one of these, you know, kind of a cheapie there. It was a good hit, kind of defined you a little bit. What was that like for you?
Oh man, it was awesome. Feels like yesterday, honestly. Yeah, it was just getting that first hit out of the way. It's just such a, you know, a weight being lifted off my shoulders. Yeah, man, it was awesome. You know, in the Coliseum too. I grew up a Raider fan, so you know, getting my first hit at the Coliseum was pretty cool. It sucks, you know, my family wasn't there or anything, but man, it was incredible to get, you know, get that hit, get it out of the way, and just, you know, play ball.
With those two games, the debut, the hit there, do you have did you get some things from either lineup card, the ball, anything like that? Did you get some memorable things for yourself, and then where are those things if you have some stuff?
Yeah, they gave me the first hit ball, obviously. The lineup card they gave me. Yeah, that's about it. And I gave them both to my dad. Yeah, my dad's got them hung up in his office. That was pretty cool.
How important, how nice is that? Again, you're doing a lot of this, you know, obviously for yourself, but there's a lot of people on your journey that have, you know, like you said, your family.
Yeah.
How fun is that for them to go through this, and for you to kind of provide these moments for them?
It's amazing, man. You know, my family sacrificed so much for me, you know, from growing up even till now, man. You know, they're always following me. They take trips, you know, they can easily go on vacation anywhere, but they choose to come and see me. You know, it's an amazing feeling, you know, having that support system behind you. But yeah, man, I don't do this for myself, you know. I do it for me, my family, my friends, everyone who supports me, man. It's awesome, man.
So, like I said, you get 10 games in, but it seems like a lot going on in these 10 games. You get this call to pitch there and kind of watching that game. It seems like it was a little bit of a discussion of who was going to get in there. And I don't remember you pitching at UM. When was the last time you pitched? How did that conversation go? And you strike out your only batter. So what was that experience like? Oh, and also, Zach Collins, a guy you played with at UM, was your catcher. That whole thing. Can you kind of summarize that?
Yeah, sure. So our pitcher gets tossed, whatever. We're down like 6-7 runs. I'm looking around the field and I'm like, I got Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Gavin Sheets, like all these veterans and all-stars. I'm like, before they even told me, I'm like, yeah, I'm going in. I'm pitching. I looked at the bullpen a few times. Nobody was getting hot. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely me. I'm going in. Sure enough, Ethan Katz, our pitching coach, comes out and he's like, hey, you're in there. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Honestly, though, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I'd be. So yeah, it was me and Zach. It's crazy. My college teammate. You can't write that up. You can't make it up. But yeah, I was warming up, and and our pitching coach was like, "Hey, don't overthrow, man. Don't get hurt." I wanted to rear back so bad and just let one go, but I respected his wishes, and yeah, man, it was just me and Zach back there, and it went great. I didn't expect it to go that smoothly.
On the game, it looked like you were throwing either changeup, slider, that kind of thing. Was that what you were throwing?
So my first few pitches were just fastballs. Like, I was just lobbing it in there, like 75 miles an hour, 76, whatever. And then my last, was 1-2 count or 0-2 count. I shook off and I wanted a slider.
I saw you shake off. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so I shook Zach off and I see Zach smiling. I'm like, here we go. And yeah, sure enough, man, I throw a nice little cut slider and get him for the punch out.
It was in the zone too. It wasn't like he chased it. It was right there. It looked good. So that obviously had been pretty unique. And like you said, you weren't too nervous, but had you pitched, when was the last time you've done that?
The last time I pitched, I didn't even pitch in high school, so I couldn't even tell you, man. Yeah.
So again, the game against the Rangers, you go 3 for 4, get a couple doubles. Again, I touched on that base hit. It seemed very like you to go opposite way there. Your 2 doubles that you had in that game, smoking one to the left and then go gap into right center. Again, with doubles, that seems to be key for you, kind of when you're hitting well. What was that like to have a game like that, to a performance like that, and kind of essentially feel like yourself with that?
Yeah, man, that was great. That was 3 for 4 in the major leagues is awesome. It's crazy too. Yasmani Grandal got me before the game, and we were watching video. I was doing some things wrong. It's tough, when you're not playing every day to kind of keep that same rhythm and that same timing. So Yaz got me in there and into the video room, and we were watching video from me in AA, AAA, and comparing it to the majors. And there's a couple, my timing was off. There's a couple things I was doing with my setup that wasn't, what I was doing all year. So he pointed that out quickly, man. And, he helped me make that adjustment, and, things went just, click back to normal. So, Yaz is awesome, man. That's just kind of the kind of guy he is.
How cool was that? Again, obviously he went to UM. You guys didn't play together, but just look, he's focused. He can be focused on other things. You guys, again, either getting pitchers ready, whatever it might be. How essentially nice was that he's taking the time for you there?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, that guy's, his knowledge of the game is incredible. After every game, he's there with the iPad and he's watching the game again, watching every pitch, the defensive positioning. He's watching everything, man. This guy's so detailed when it comes to preparation, and it's incredible to watch, man. And he took time out of his day to do that for me, man, and I couldn't be more grateful,
Again, successful year. You guys win the division there. What was it like? A lot of veterans too. You touched on a couple of young guys like Gavin or Zach, but just a lot of veterans. What was that like, kind of being a part of that group, and how they essentially treat you? How they how they welcome you in when you got there.
Oh man, they welcomed me with open arms. Everyone was super cool, super down to earth. Obviously, there's a lot of veterans and all-stars, man, and they were awesome. I see, they have a great camaraderie. The team chemistry is awesome. That's what it takes that to win, to win ball games. You can't just rely on talent alone, man. You got to play, for the guy next to you. And I see why, they're so successful. But yeah, man, everybody was extremely cool. They welcomed me with open arms, and it was awesome.
As you talked about at the beginning, kind of getting ready for the season, how much are you paying attention to what's going on with the work stop and things like that? Is it something that you're constantly dialed into? Is it something you're just not really focused on? How are you kind of taking this approach to it?
I kind of check up on it every now and then, but not too much. There's nothing, it's out of my control, so there's nothing I can do. So, I'm just controlling what I can control, and just, I'm not really out of the loop, I would say, but I'm not like I'm just not spending all day, researching the work stoppage and what's going to happen, and listening to all these reporters and analysts and seeing what they're saying. But yeah, man, I check up every now and then, but nothing crazy.
Well, good, man. Your time is valuable. I appreciate you taking time to kind of go through your story. Once again, like I mentioned, there's a lot of people rooting for you, and looking forward to you continue to do big things. So definitely best of luck. I'll let you get going, but it was definitely nice talking to you, Romy.
Brother, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.